I'm a little concerned about that, but that'll be fun to figure out. Yeah. You know, I got a big mouth. Yep, let me give you an echo. Yep. Yep. This is what I thought. This is what I thought. We're gonna get focused from the mud. Say something again, bud. Hey, Clark, you hear say something again, bud? I said something again, bud. Put your hands together. Come on and stomp your feet. Oh, there. Welcome to Roland Grimes Show Live, the other side of me in the morning here in the nation's capital, Washington, D.C. region. We're in Camp Springs, Maryland at Star Imports, S-T-A-R-R Imports, located at 4711 Off Place. Did I get that right? Off Place, Camp Springs, Maryland. Let's do that again. S-T-A-R-R Imports. Car dealership here in Camp Springs, Maryland, 4711 Off Place, A-U-T-H Place. So those of you who know someone who's interested in or need another vehicle, second car, replace the one that they have now, and you're in the D.C. area, anywhere within 50 miles of my voice, give the folks at Star Imports a phone call. I'll get that number to you a little bit later. I'll drop my card, and they'll do the best they can to help you get to where you need to be. They do something very unique, so I'm not going to call, check this out. They do something very unique. They are an auto dealing boutique. I like that. So as a boutique, what it means is if you come in, or when you come in, or you call in, and you're looking for a certain type of car, a particular year range on a used automobile or pre-owned automobile, you can give them some of the specs of it, and they'll go try to find it for you and bring it to you. Now, that's very unique. So let me say it again. If there's a particular used pre-owned automobile out there, make, model, and year, and they don't have that in stock, they will try to locate it for you and bring it to you. Man, that's awesome. Very few people do that. So Star Imports, unique boutique here in the auto business world. Again, Star Imports, you can go online, check them out at S-T-A-R-R Imports. Roland Bubba Grimes here, the other side of me. So what I try to do on the Monday mornings is get a little bit more enthusiastic, animated about various topics that we're dealing with in society, and have some conversations about what we need to do to help resolve some of those things. We're doing all of our testings here at this brand new station studio over the next week. After that, I'll start to invite more guests in to have conversations with them regarding things that are germane to many of the people listening in. My Facebook Live isn't working right now because I violated all the copyright laws. I like doing that like every 2 or 3 weeks, so they shut me down. Not a problem, but you share this with anyone you know, friends, and most of your enemies can reach us now or see me live at www.voxwav.com. That's VOXWAV.com, home of Vox Power 37.3, Vox Power 37.3. Now, a lot of people have inquired to me as to how and why this whole situation has happened, where I'm in a new station, I'm in a new studio, how did it happen that quickly, et cetera, et cetera. So for your edification, for your information, I'd like to share some of those thoughts with you. First of all, nothing happens overnight, or very few things happen overnight, and the things that do happen overnight usually aren't real good. So I've been planning for the last 6 months to launch my own situation where I am the boss, where I control the situation, and where I make the decisions. Prior to any studios that I was involved in, WBGR, E-Life Media, Vox Power, before any of those existed for at least 3 to 4 years, I had been doing the Roland Grimes show live, and I've been doing the Roland Grimes show itself in various restaurants across the DMV area. In addition to that, we've gone into places in Delaware, upstate New York, parts of Virginia. We've gone into various states, various cities throughout the country, and we've chronicled a lot of different information, and you can find that on the Roland Grimes Show YouTube page, Roland Grimes Show YouTube page. So this was not new to me. I had been doing this internet media platform for several years. The idea came from a long-standing friend of mine out of Syracuse, New York, named Finesse Demps, and he approached me about doing some things, internet TV, and some other folks approached me about doing internet radio, so I sort of combined the two and decided to with his assistance, launch this Roland Grimes Show phenomenon. Early on, I had a beloved co-host by the name of Mr. Wilbert Skipper. I believe his birthday is this month. God bless, God rest my brother in power and in heaven. Skip passed a few years ago. He was an intricate part of what I was doing early on. He provided sales support. He was my comrade in chief, and I sorely miss him every day as I get behind these microphones and I try to keep this thing going. When he died, it took me several months to get the steering wheel straight again. And shortly after, I started to how do I say, pull that plane out of that nosedive. I ventured upon a young lady by the name of LaTanya, and by the grace of God, she decided to join me in that Roland Grimes phenomenon a couple of years ago, and she's been my constant cohort for a lot of these projects since then, by the grace of God. So 6 months ago, I knew that I was going to establish my own brand again, and that I was going to set up my own station, primarily mobile. By doing it that way, then I had complete control over the environment, over the situation. I did not want to go into somebody else's house unless it was an ideal situation, because when you go in someone's house and you get into their room and you decide to do something like this, whatever isms they have, whatever idiosyncrasies they have, and it's going to come up. It's just like a marriage. It's just like moving into your girlfriend or boyfriend's house. Those things are going to surface. And it's okay if it's just you and your girlfriend or you and your boyfriend dealing with it. But when you bring other people into that space, and in my case, at any given time, I'm working with anywhere from 15 to 40 different people on a weekly basis to produce these kinds of shows, information, transformation. Anytime you get there, now what happens with you and your spouse inside her house, or you and your you and your boo inside her house, or you and your boo inside your house, there's 30 or 40 other people affected by that. Now, if everything's cohesive and it's flowing good and you're on good terms and everything's synchronized, you have a much better chance that those 30, 40 people feel good about the situation, benefit from it, and want to continue to invest in it. However, you get to the point where y'all start getting on each other's last nerve. Now what happens is that destabilizes everything with those 30, 40 other people who are investing their time and money into what you're doing. You're not living in this thing in a silo. These folks are putting in their time. They're investing their money. They're investing their resources. It doesn't really matter how much. It doesn't really matter how it's structured. But they're here with you to help make this thing happen, to benefit you and them, so it's a win-win situation. And the person that you're hanging out with or the person that you're doing the business with, you all are beefing. So I knew that this is inevitable in every one of these situations. So I said, the heck with that. I'm not getting involved with that anymore. I'm done. I gave this a try. I did this in-station, in-studio thing. And I said, I gotta get out of here. When I was at another station, the two primary leaders had a riff. And then somebody came in one night, and one of the partners came in, and all the equipment had been taken out. And they didn't have a station for a week or two. And then the same thing happens again. And apparently, in one situation, one knew that the other one was leaving because the one told him, you got to go. In the other situation, one didn't necessarily know that the other was leaving, but knew that he was discontented. And what he did was come in and he took everything out. Now, this happens every damn day in this business, in this service. So why be new stupid and keep looking for a different outcome from the same situation? Because it's always going to be the case. At some point, you're going to have to divorce that person. This is inevitable. Somebody's going to want their space. Somebody's going to say, they're not making enough money. Somebody's going to be beefing about something. I don't want to go to anybody else's house. This was a unique situation for me, and it's from the standpoint that the proprietors of Star Imports, this brother, Doc Rivers, if you haven't met him, you need to meet him. He's a different kind of cat. And what I mean by that is his mind is able to bend around corners better than most people that I encounter. In essence, he is driven not just by the bottom line, but he's driven by how to navigate to the bottom line and be able to do it in a way that makes sense and beneficial to everyone around. A case in point, we first came in here and we started doing our thing probably the third or fourth day here. He said, hey, went over next door to Red Lobster and bought us all dinner, his whole staff and me. So I looked at that as an olive branch, so to speak. And I've been in situations where I was dealing with folks who cook food right there on the premises because they had a restaurant, and they never did that. So I'm not being critical that this man did or this man didn't. It was just from that standpoint, I looked at it and said, wow, here's someone who's at least setting a plate that makes us think, let's break bread together. Because if we break bread together, then we have an opportunity that we can relax and we can have a conversation. It's a damn shame to sit someplace with someone and you inside a restaurant and we can't even get the food together to sit there so we can break bread together without buying the damn food. I got a problem with that. And I got a problem with the person who does that. But that's my problem. So I didn't let that stand in the way. I didn't stop doing business with somebody because they wouldn't buy any food. I was in another situation where they had where I was getting ready to do my show and the guy said, look, man, my daughter's got a basketball game tonight. I got to go to the game. You can't do your show. I didn't trip. I didn't flip. I just said, look, man, I got people getting ready to watch my show. He said, man, look, man, it's my family. I said, look, man, do what you got to do. I came back the next week. I continued on with the project that I was doing in his studio. So understand things are going to come up and how people feel about those things, whether they feel they're being short-sighted or whether they feel like they're being violated, is going to have an impact on how they respond. I never looked at things as if I was being short-sighted or violated. I never looked at that. And when I started to look like that and talk like that, I had to change my way of thinking. I said, look, it's not about being short-sighted. It's not a matter of being violated. This person who's making this decision is running his business. And they have a myopic viewpoint of what's going on because they're looking at their bottom line every day. The heck with you. You're just another widget in this whole system. They're looking every day at what they need to do to benefit themselves. You're secondary. And as a result of that, you're going to always be secondary when you're renting space in somebody else's place. Bottom line. So I'm not mad at this man because he didn't give me no food from his restaurant. I'm not excited. I'm not overjoyed that this man gave me some food in his establishment. The only thing I did then was pay for the food that I ate in the one situation. And I went and I bought some food for the people in the other situation after the dude bought some food for me. So that we can now break bread and I contribute to us breaking bread together. Not a problem. So I'm not splitting up with somebody over no damn food. And I'm not splitting up with somebody over who's girl or who's this or who's that. That's not my kind of party. That's another side of me. Not my type of party. But what happens is inevitably these situations break up. They're going to. So as soon as you get together, a little different than marriage, I hope, but you need a prenup. As soon as you get together, you need to make a decision, write out, and make it plain. What happens when we dissolve this thing? Because as soon as you start it, you have to look at it that it's going to end. You have to put a plan together and say, if I pass away, how much of my investment will come back to my children and for how long? We have to get that out the way early. Call my man Bernie Seiler, call my man Michael Ron Worthy, call an attorney in let him look over the documents and then notarize them and sign off on them that this is a legal document. So if somebody violates this and we go to court, it will be upheld, or it has a chance of being upheld. Simple as that. Plan for the end at the beginning. We're telling folks all over the place, plan for the end at the beginning. Plan for your life insurance as soon as you get involved with your relationship or you have a child. Plan for the end in the beginning. Now what happens is everything else that happens in between, it at least takes the pressure off. What are we going to do if this marriage breaks up? But we don't. We leave the end open-ended. Plan for the end. Make it closed-ended. Plan for a closed-ended end at the beginning. You know, even if you have a mortgage on a house, they plan for the day when the mortgage is paid. And then they have then you have a mortgage burning party, and then they send you a document saying, hey, this relationship between you and this financial institution has now ended. Thank you very much. I just made 3 times off of you what you paid for the house. So if you bought a house for $100,000, I just made $300,000, I just made $300,000 off of a $100,000 property. You happy because you got the house? They're happy because they made a whole lot of money off of you. Everybody's happy. We keep moving. But you have to plan for that end in the beginning, and then along the way you have to plan. You have to put measures in place that if this, then that. If you have a problem with something, how do we resolve it? If there's an issue over money, how do we resolve it? And then you have to agree to those things and continue to follow. In every situation I've been in, for the most part, or observed, that's not what's happening. So we've already created our own failure right from the beginning because we haven't planned on how this thing's going to end. And we haven't planned on what to do when we're running the bumps between each other in the middle. And from now on, when I'm in that situation, I'm getting out. I'm getting out. Because I already know what's going to happen. It has nothing to do with the individuals. It has something to do with the fact that the process and the system that's put in place is not conducive for their long-term success because it does not take into account what to do when we run into these bumps in the road. What do we do when someone terminates? What do we do when we decide to dissolve? Those things are not in place at the beginning. Get out. In marital terms now, they call it a prenup. So my engineer, chief cokehead, he said, no matter what you do, make sure you have a prenup. Okay, makes sense. So me and everybody involved with me from a governance standpoint, we're going to develop a prenup. Makes sense to me. Now, as we get ready to take our first station break, I'll continue on in terms of what Roland Grimes is and what's planning to do. The first thing is nobody contains me. No one owns me on this planet Earth. So I'm going to do what the funk I want to do, regardless of what anyone says. Because I was put here on this earth by my God to execute his mission. I remember playing football for the Bishop McNamara Mustangs in Forestville, Maryland in the early 80s. And I remember there was a point in which I was brought in at the beginning of my senior year, and some circumstances happened, and it switched my position from offensive line to running back. The entire high school football community said I could not be successful at that position. Even some of the people closest to me that I really admired and really respected said I could not be successful at that position. I learned then that before you tell someone they can't do something, why don't you take a look at them and see if they can do it? So had you been in our practices, you would have known, whoa, maybe this guy can do this. Can he do what he's doing in practice in a game? Well, let's put him in a game situation and find out, because he's damn sure doing it in practice. But the people who said he can't play that position weren't watching me train, weren't watching me practice. And that's not a problem. I don't want you to watch me practice. But I want you to understand that you can't tell me what I can and can't do. I tell me what I can and can't do. I told myself that I could play running back. And I had to prove it to myself that I could play running back. It didn't matter what anyone else thought. And I remember my beloved father coming to me and said, man, this is a bad move. The coaches are stupid. You know, you're going to lose your scholarship. All that money's going to go down the drain, yada, yada, yada. I said, Papa, love you. I said, look here, man, I'm the one that's running out there every summer in 100-degree weather trying to get ready. I'm the one who's bashing his head into other people 100 miles an hour. Now, I'm the one who's putting the ice on his body, you know, day and night, you know, for 3-4 months out of the year. This is mine. I kissed him. I thanked him. I said, Dad, you, Mom, and many others helped bring me to this point. I got it from here. And subsequently that year, by the grace of God, a great offensive line, some luck, some fortune, some guidance, I had a chance to burn this place up that year. The entire high school football scene, both on the offensive end as a running back and on the defensive end, any damn where they put me. So nobody tells me what to do now because I don't even have a coach. But when I'm under your authority, you tell me what to do. So I've made a decision that I'm not putting myself under any other man's authority as long as I can help it. And the reason why is because I don't want to spend any more time in the rest of the short life I have left explaining to somebody that God's purpose for me is his purpose for me, and it needs to be fulfilled, and you need to support it, just like I need to support yours. I'm not spending that time doing that anymore. When I come in the door, I'm going to do. Somebody has a problem with it, they can get. They don't want to get, then I'm going to get. But I'm going to do what and how God put me here on this earth to do. So when that time comes and I meet him face to face, he can say to me, or I pray that he can say to me, Roland, job well done. Or at least, Roland, I understand that you tried. And that's all I asked you to do. The outcome was mine. Plant the seeds, till the soil, plant the seed, water it, the outcome is mine. So this is seed planting. I've done it in education, I've done it in business, I've done it in athletics. That's all I do. That's my mission in life. Till the ground, plant the seed, water, wait, hey, God, do your thing. I don't always like the outcome. You won't always like your outcome. But whatever God's purpose has for you, you do it. Now, some people, God put you here so that you can tear things up, tear it up. I know a man very close to me. He said, look here, man, God put me on this earth to kill people. He said, that's what I do. He said, I kill people. He said, I get a joy out of standing someplace and someone standing 600 yards away and I can pull a trigger and drop them right there. He said, I was born with that. So you know what he did? He went into the military. So that when conflict broke out and they needed to send some killers in, you can send him in. That's what God made him to do, kill people. I'm not mad at him. That's what he put him there to do. That's not my call. So I'm never going to judge that man for the fact that he has an appetite for killing people when God put that appetite in him. People say, nah, well, God wouldn't put appetite in the kid. Yeah, okay. I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm just telling you that, okay. So whatever purpose God puts in you, it's your responsibility to meet that out. And if the people around you aren't, especially when you're grown, if they're not working with you to meet that mission, then God's got some other way for you to get it. You got to get. He's either going to change them, he's going to change you, or he's going to change your position. In my case, for a couple of times the last several years, he changed my position. Almost every single restaurant that we went into and did the Roland Grimes show, they were like, hey, man, great, come on in, come on in. And when I started doing this stuff and they started hearing people talk positively and we started talking about how to build a community and what we need to do, they were like, whoa, you got to get out of here. The restaurants were like, you got to get out of here. They're like, why? Because they thought we was going to do some nigga shit. They wanted me to come in there and run my mouth and talk junk and have people jumping around shaking their booties and everything so that they could sell more liquor. You know, you can't move a lot of liquor if people are sitting there and becoming conscious. I don't have any problem with liquor. I know some people that do. I don't. I have a problem with the system of how it's distributed, but I don't have a problem with liquor. I read my Bible. It says wine is a mocker, beer is a brawler, and keep some of this in times of your infirmities. You no issue with that. I don't. However, I have a problem with how the liquor is distributed in America and how it becomes detrimental to folks that look like me. That's another story. So I'm going to ask my engineer to fire me up some funk so you don't have to listen to me for long. I promise you, I'm going to be like Elizabeth Taylor when she met her 8th husband. She said, I won't keep you long. So sit tight. We're going to rock and roll. I'll see you on the other side of this thing, and then we're going to wrap things up. Thank you for joining me, Roland Bubba Grimes, here on VoxWave.com. Vox Power 37.3.
Someday it'll turn you out. You'll be out of sight. You really shouldn't ought to fight it. The music is designed to do no harm. It's just for you. With just a little bit of effort, I can't hit where we might just turn you on. Just for you. You really shouldn't ought to fight it. The music is designed to do no harm. We're just for you. With just a little bit of effort, I can and will, we might just turn you on. We have come to help people.
Welcome back, Rolling Grimes, live. The other side of me. Hey, folks, I want to send out a congratulations to the Houston Astros for their World Series victory over the LA Dodgers. Quite apropos, as many people are saying this morning, Houston, which obviously was devastated when you looked at the TV cameras and listened to the news with a hurricane earlier in the year. And I would have hated to be the LA Dodgers because a team that's coming from a city that experienced that kind of travail, a lot of times you don't stand a chance. But congratulations to the people of Houston have an opportunity to celebrate what we call a world championship in baseball as the Major League Baseball World Series comes to a close with a victory, 5-1, I believe it was, Game 7 of the World Series between the Houston Astros and the LA Dodgers. To God be the glory. Congratulations to you folks once again. So we're going to wrap things up, and you'll get a chance to see this on our YouTube page, on the Rolling Ground Show YouTube page at some point, and also on the Vox Power 373 YouTube page. I'll repost some of it. It's going to take a while to build these things the way I want to build them, and of course, as I mentioned to you earlier, stations are great. However, my business model doesn't just include a station, it includes being able to do the Roland Grimes brand on the move. So yesterday I had an opportunity to meet with some beautiful folks connected to a high school about their upcoming basketball season, and perhaps by the grace of God, we can put something together and we can help chronicle what may be a magical season for that team here in the D.C. area. I don't want to speak on it yet until we consummate everything and we're able to move forward from there. And I'm also looking to do some collaborations with one of the departments and department heads from Syracuse University. As you all know, my alma mater, with the hopes that we can bring some of this activity in a collaborative fashion to some of you. I'm going to talk a little louder because I know that when we do the replays that sometimes it gets a little low on the replays with the brand new lapel mics. I know I'm supposed to tuck it under my clothes and bring it up so you all don't see the wire. So as you're looking at me, there's no wire. So just block it out of your mind like there's no wire there. And we can keep on doing our thing. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, call us at 240-719-2560. You see it right there. Say that then. 240-719-2560. So today's lineup, we're expecting a visit from Miss Shirley Thomas, who does her show, Success Field Living. If she's coming in today, we're not sure when her show is going to start broadcasting in this environment, but if she comes through today at 11 o'clock, Success Field Living with Shirley Thomas. And right around the noon hour for about a half an hour, Say That Then with the world famous Kevin Hughes. I want you all to really pay attention to the Say That Then radio TV show, because I believe with whom he knows and whom can you say that 47 times straight? Whom he knows and whom knows him. There it is. Say That Then is on the corner market of being a very, very powerful broadcast. So look for the Say That Then on Facebook. Look for the Say That Then on voxwave.com, somewhere around the 12 o'clock hour. Really excited. Say That Then will be on display every Tuesday morning, I believe around 10:30, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock to 12:30. And then hopefully on Thursdays, we can do a snippet of it on Thursdays to get you ready for what he's going to do on Tuesday. Many of you have asked about other shows and are they going to be broadcast here? Who knows? I do know that we did a broadcast for Real Talk 101, which is on Sunday night. The broadcast, also the Heartbeat Conga Hours on Tuesday night. Tonight, we'll see DJ 640, and that show starts at 7 or 8 o'clock tonight. And that's going to be, as always, when DJ 640 and his crew comes in, it's always an exciting affair. Again, those of you interested who have businesses and services, not interested, but you really ought to promote your business or service, and you really ought to promote it through us and through me. I made it affordable. We are willing to work with you. And for a few pennies, we hope that we can help make you a few more dollars. So you're able to give me a call directly at 301-996-0052, 301-996-0052, or call the hotline, leave a message if the answer machine picks up, and let's talk about doing some things together so that other people, so you can introduce your business, service, or your mind to some other people where they can find you without you having to spend all your time running around trying to find them. And we're going to wrap things up here in the morning hour, Roland Grimes live, the other side of me, as I mentioned to you earlier. I'm really looking forward to going mobile with the Roland Grimes mobile, the black mobile, I guess we're going to call it. And before I'm done, by the grace of God, we'll have a couple of mobile units that we're moving through different parts of the country so that we can have some on-the-spot in real-time impact in various communities across the United States of America, and then, as most things, hopefully throughout the world. So we're going to take one step at a time. I'm going to turn things over to my man in charge, Chief Cokehead, my chief engineer, and I should be calling him Chief Pepsi Head, but that doesn't sound as attractive as Chief Cokehead because he loves to drink Pepsi, and I guess Pepsi's sister is Coke, and he's like, I don't want to drink any Coke, so I'm calling him Chief Cokehead for that reason and that reason alone. Psych. Hey, folks, Roland Bubba Grimes signing off, signing out. Look forward to Shirley Thomas coming up around the 10, 11 o'clock hour. Say that then, 12 o'clock hour. And also tonight, DJ 640 coming at you. Stay tuned, stay connected, www.voxwave.com. So, hope you guys have a good one. Not a screen. No, it's a
like skiing deep powder. I really like flying helicopters. That was the genesis of the idea.
There's so many people now that really consider their pet their family, and they want them to be comfortable.
JT and I started this company with $6,000. The traditional industry thought we were crazy. With that constraint, we had to make the most of our money since the beginning.
We tried all sorts of different ways to advertise. We did print advertising, radio advertising, and we've gotten rid of a lot of that stuff.
YouTube is great for people that are just starting a new business or small business owners like myself, because we're all on a budget. As you see that business is growing, you can always add to that at any time.
Video does allow us to make an emotional connection. You know, you say a picture's worth 1,000 words, and video's worth 1,000,000.
Through YouTube video advertising, we're able to know that a view is a real view.
We have doubled almost every year since we started.
This is what people have been waiting for all along.
Stupidly, I'm forced to smile.
as well pay attention. You can't afford free speech. Mood control is designed to render funkable ideas brought to you by the makers of Mr. Prolong, better known as Urge Overkill, the pimping of the pleasure principle.
Oh, but we'll be pecking lightly, like a woodpecker with a headache. Cause it's cheaper to funk than it is to pay attention. You dig? Hucklebuck! Lo and behold, someone's funking with mood control. Epic kind of beer. Deprogram, program, peck me lightly, like a woodpecker with a headache. Will you take it? Epic kind of beer. The non-profit organization. Seems I can't remember when there was a time I didn't have you on my mind, but your subtle light made me think the winning card was mine. Now I start to understand.
Check.
I must be just part of your plan.
Ran.
Just must be part of your plan. Clever girl.
Check.
You got me on the run.
Check.
Clever girl.
Check.
Loving ain't no fun. I knew right from the start that only you could touch my heart. The way you move my soul, girl, you had complete control. But now the time has come for me to deal the final hand. Gonna call you bluff, girl. Just got to show you my style. Soon the game will come to an end. And
Check.
there'll be
Check.
nothing left for you to do except pretend. You're a clever girl in the game.
Check. Check.
Oh, but clever girl, things will never be the same. You just keep on running, there'll be no place to go. After all your friends have vanished, you will find yourself alone.
check. Check.
Saw me a girl today who walked with such a gentle sway.
got a little pale my voice, right? That's what I said. All right, I'm gonna hook that. We're gonna go to pale and then
Let's get your head together.
I'm gonna put the remote on
Else it's you
standby
that's
because they're
bound
coming
to
before me.
lose. Listen here,
Right, wow.
I just had to
So that's what I'm working on now.
take the time to get you
I'm
straight
almost
back in
done.
your mind.
Somehow or another, I gotta take this box with you know that power. Oh, it looks like that pin was moved up and back
Driving
down.
around, no, baby.
Still box, you know the receiver
Just
for
get
the
your
wire.
feet back on the ground. Help me,
Yeah, I
brother.
gotta find a way to bring it back down.
I want you to say it with me now.
I'll get it back down.
Say it one more time, y'all. Better get your feet back on the ground. Stop that messing around all time. If you wanna be mine, go out to walk a straight line. Hey, baby, yes indeed. Gotta get it together. Oh, now, get your feet on the ground. Hey, baby, say get your feet back on the ground. Stop that messing around.
Yeah, I gotta go with it.
All time.
I cut it off, my bad. Okay.
Ain't nothing I can say, nothing I can do. I feel so bad, yeah. I feel so blue. I got to make it right for everyone concerned.